Well, the finishing line is now in sight, but we've still got just a few more bits to do. Hello, welcome back to the Adrian Project. I'm Adrian with a face for radio, and on today's episode I'm going to be doing the penultimate part of my MPC Round 2 22-inch Eagle transporter from the show Space 1999. So, cue the music. So, as we can see, as I mentioned in the last video, I started work on the landing gear. Now this was painted in a metallic grey. It just says grey on the instructions, and I thought with it being a really hefty spacecraft, it's going to need some hefty landing gear to hold it up, so metallic grey seemed to be the choice. For that, what I've still got to do, I'm just going to do some dry brushing with a little bit of silver, give it a worn look, and after I've got a quick spray of varnish, I'll probably go around with a black pin wash to pick out all the little details. While all that lot was left to dry, I decided I was going to glue on the engine bells. They've been knocking around for a little while. Before I did this, on the underside of the passenger pod, I used some black pastel powder on a brush just to dirty it up a little because I didn't like the pristine white look to it. Eagle transporters were workhorses of Moonbase Alpha, so they were going to get some use, and they weren't going to be clean all the time. So I thought, just use a little bit of the old pastel powder. I used a mixture of black and brown. Where I overdid it, I just used a little bit of blue tack as like an eraser, just to wipe off the excess more than anything, and I think it came out pretty decent. And then, as we can see on this next photograph, I put the main drive engine bells on as well. They went on really smoothly, and then it was just a matter of putting the little discs on the inside. Now, take note of the instruction manual on that one, because it does tell you which way the orientation on these go. As you can see, it sort of makes like a cross pattern. I did notice as well, right in the centre there was two little holes. So on mine, I just had them in the vertical position. I don't think it really matters. Then they got the other little thruster bells on the underside of the two pods. Again, before I glued them on, I did the same again on the underside of that with some pastels, just to grub it up just a little bit. I'm not going to overdo it with the weathering on my Eagle, but I do want to make it look like it's a used spacecraft. So here we are. I use the light that I usually use downstairs when I do my videos. I think it does it a lot better than what the yellow one does that I used on the previous video. So hope it makes it all look a little bit clearer. So here we go, here's the landing struts. These are now painted in that metallic grey. You just have to be careful how much paint you put on, because you've got to keep these joints moving. So like I said before, I do have to go over these, dry brush them with silver, then varnish them, and then do a little black pin wash just to pick out some of the little riveting details. The undersides I've still got to paint as well. I'm just going to do those metallic grey again, and a lot of scuffing with the silver on those parts, and then they will be able to be ready to be put onto the bottoms of the pods that they're attached to. And as we can see here, we've got the engine bells glued on. I'll start with the main drive ones. I think they're looking all right. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, so as you can see, it's like a cross pattern when we come to do it with the little discs on the inside. Really easy to do if you use tweezers. I was trying to use my fingers to get in, it wasn't happening. So a pair of tweezers, and it is just so easy. And as you can see, you can't see any of the white inside either, because you paint all that black. Any parts that's white really need covering, obviously will stand out. Then of course, like on the bottom of that part and that part there, we've got two thruster bells there. I'm not seeing if this is picking up too well, or if it's just, let me just take this down just a tad if you can see. I've done a little bit of weathering with the pastels there. Like I say, I don't want to go in too heavy, because I'm one of those modelers that does seem to overdo the weathering a little bit. And there we go, that's all those parts done and dusted. And that is now waiting now for the side cages to go on. Then I will be varnishing, using a pin wash to pick out the details in there and some of the details on top of there. So like I say, I don't want to be doing it too much, going too overboard with it. So there we go, that's the landing gear and the thruster bells all in position. Okay, so the next job in hand was gluing into place the roof section on the passenger pod. As you can see, I used a couple of cocktail sticks to make sure that the holes in the roof section line up with the holes that you made on the two bulkheads. It was just a case of gluing along the tops of the bulkheads, putting the roof section into place, and then using a bit of Tamiya tape to keep them down. I did notice after I'd left it to dry and I took the tape off that there are gaps running along the length of the roof that just need a little bit of acrylic filler. No hard job there. And on one of the ends there's a little step on the bulkhead, just needs filling and sanding a little just to neaten it up. So the passenger pod, again, got the thruster bells in position there, and the landing struts, again, these are going to need dry brushing with silver, varnishing, and then a little black pin wash. Again, the bottoms of there need the metallic grey putting on and scuffing up a little as well. Hopefully, if I can just turn that down a little, I think that's picking up the little bit of weathering I've done with the pastel powder. It's just scraping it off with a knife off your stick of your colour pastel, and then just putting it on with a brush and doing as much or as little as you like. I probably will have a little go at pin washes around these parts here, so I can make some of these details stand out as well. So I say we're now glued the roof section on as well, and as you can see, I'll just bring that up there, there are some little gaps that just need to be filled on the end there as well, just to neaten it all up. Now again, this is going to need some of the grey panel work done on it. I will scuff up the passenger pod as well, like you will see with the nose cone as the weathering. When I come to varnish it, I have learnt my lesson. The windows here will be covered with Tamiya tape so that it's not going to frost up like I did on my Grumman Intruder. Made a bit of a mess with the glasswork on that, so lesson learnt there. And there we go. That's all the passenger pod all done and ready, apart from the bits I've just said. I'll say it's now coming along, so let's have a quick look at the next part that I did. So next job on the agenda is painting all the detail on the back wall of the cockpit. So we can see we have a nice browny colour for the main wall. There are some white sections on it, and I masked off all around the door before it came to painting the tricky red and black trim around the main door itself. Proved a little bit of a headache for me because I didn't have any red paint. The only red paint I had was a sort of a transparent red, but I did the best effect I could get out of it, and I don't think it looks too bad. Then when I was happy with everything, I blatted it all with some Humbrol satin varnish. That's my favourite. Like I said before, I'm not a fan of matte varnish. I don't like the look you get with it. And here we see there's the final product. Now, unless you're going to be taking the nose cone on and off, which I don't plan on doing, you're not going to hardly see any of this detailing. So I was happy enough with the results that I ended up getting. So here we go, it's the cockpit interior, and like I said on the previous video, for a kit that costs you best part of £120, the figures on there left a lot to be desired. I did the best I could, and that's like I've said, when the nose cone goes on, I'm not going to see it, so the effect I've got there, it's good enough for me. Not wanting to blow my own trumpet, it does actually look better in real life than it does on the camera and in the photos. And then they say the camera never lies, but it picks up a lot more detail than the human eye would naturally see. So that's why it always looks a bit rougher in your photos and on your videos than what it does in real life. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Of course, on the back, I'm not sure if you're going to be picking this up. I might have to turn this down again a little bit, but this is what I was saying. Just scuffing the paint there, just to make it look a little worn. The most of this back plate you're not going to see anyway, so there we go, and that's the interior cockpit. And this brings us to the last part on the video. I want to start making some headway on the cone section. So I decided I'm going to hand paint on some of the little grey panels. I wasn't going to go overboard with them. You used to be able to get the decals to do this. I wish you could still get them. I did try and look, like I say, I contacted Hannants and they couldn't get any, so I just had to do it my own way, which was just by masking them off. And then I used a sponge instead of a brush to dab them on. Now, what I wanted to do was to get this eagle looking like it's been used. I've seen a lot of people do them and they look like the pristine showroom condition, but they are workhorses at Moonbase Alpha, like I said. So I did on the grey panels make sure that they weren't going on in block colours. I did want some of the white showing to make it look like there had been some wear. Also, I was scratching my head thinking, how am I going to get some weathering done on this, but not going overboard and not making it look like it's just paint blatted on it. The idea I came up with was I took a sanding stick to the white paintwork and I very lightly rubbed over till some of the off-white plastic started to show underneath, and I think it looks okay for me. Like I say, it's your model, you do it whichever way you want to do it. This is my way of making it look a little worn, so it's not white and pristine and straight out the box, like I said. And when I was happy with the results, as always, I blattered it with some Hundroll satin varnish, ready for the next stage, which will be putting the decals on, including the black, I think the anti-glare paintwork for where the windows are, and a few of the decals before I close up the final nose cone, and I can put it on to the eagle. And here we are on the nose cone. So like I say, I really wanted to get this eagle looking worn and weathered. I'll try and do the best I can. I'm not sure if this is picking this up or not, but as you can see, I do knock back the paint just a little till it comes the plastic underneath showing, and it actually gives it a worn look, which is what I was looking for. I didn't want the pristine showroom out the box version of this eagle. So there we go, and I say the nose there as well, I've done a lot of scuffing on that, because you have to think it is the workhorse of Moonbase Alpha. They are used a hell of a lot. When you go out into space, you've got all the space debris hitting it, and they do go into an atmosphere as well, so you've got heat damage going in and out of atmospheres, and all the dust that blows up off the moon and all the other surfaces. And what you have to think as well, if you've ever watched Space 1999, is that the moon is on a trajectory through the cosmos, so all your bits and bobs on there are going to be at a premium. You can't afford to waste anything, so I don't think they'd be wasting paint making Eagle transporters look all nice and shiny. I know they'd be keeping them running and up to date, and all the resources that I have would go into that and keeping the occupants of Moonbase alive. I don't think they'd be too precious about the paintwork on an Eagle, so that's how I'm going to look at it. And like I say, I wanted my Eagle to look like it is a used spaceship and not just sat in a showroom. So there we go, and that's the effect I'm going for. So that just leaves the decals to be going on there, a few more bits and bobs around, and then I can put my back into there. I mean, I've got the windows to do as well, and as we said before, it has been said online that when you do put your glass in, there are gaps, so I'm going to have to go around that with the Vallejo acrylic, fill in any little gaps, and then Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and doody-doody-da, there we go. Everything will be glued together, so that's it for this video. The next video is going to be just a little rundown of the last few bits and bobs that I've done, and it will be my final reveal. And that's the end of yet another episode. I hope you all enjoyed that one. If you did, and you haven't done so already, could you please remember to subscribe to my channel. At the moment, I'm aiming to get 1,000 subscribers, and as soon as I hit that 1,000th subscriber mark, I will donate at least £20 to Macmillan nurses here in the UK. For those of you living outside of the UK and you don't know who the Macmillan nurses are, they are there to help everyone with cancer live life as fully as they can, providing physical, financial and emotional support. I myself have had their services firsthand, and I can tell you they are exceptional. A lot of the time they do have to rely on public donations, so if you'd like to find out more about Macmillan nurses, or in fact give a little donation yourself, then please visit www.macmillan.org.uk. Okay, I'd like to thank you all again for watching. It's very, very much appreciated. Don't forget, you can still follow me on Facebook and on Twitter if that's going to be easy for you. And here's to seeing you all again on the next episode of the Adrian Bout Project.